Been gone for a minute, but I'm back with the jump off. Y'all, it's been a lot going on. So it has taken forever to get this grotesquerie, get the show finished, the notes done, and getting to sit down and finish it, right? With the regular rotation of shows that I'm already doing. On top of trying to be a mommy on top of being a good mommy and a wife. You know what I mean? But here we are. We're gonna break this up. I'm gonna do 4, 5, and 6 on this video, and then I'm gonna do 7, 8, 9, 10 on another video, and that might be a live, cause I ain't went live again since the last time. So that might be a live since they be taking forever, and then that can be uploaded probably tomorrow or later tonight. But yeah, that's how we're gonna finish out Grotesquerie. So another case of me forgetting to look up these show titles, y'all. Y'all know I love my show titles. Grotesque. Wait, somebody can't spell. Grotesquerie episode guide. And they don't even have one here like that. Coordinates for episode 4. Red is trying her hardest to catch Lois up to get the power of attorney from Marshall. She's listening and recording to her conversations when she's coming up there to talk to Marshall or whatever, just kind of talking to him as if he's there, you know. Ed takes Lois on a date, but they end up going to AA, okay? She is in an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. She's like, can we go get something to eat now? They go out to eat later, and he talks about how he used to be a cokehead stripper in Juneau, Alaska, okay? Lois goes to confessional with Father Charlie, and she says, God left the keys to the candies to the devil. I said, ooh, America. America. So she ends up having Ed watch over Merritt while she goes on an adventure with Sister Megan. Speaking of Merritt, she was able to get the box open and what am I trying to say? Able to get the box open, and that's where she found the slip of paper that had some numbers on it. It was coordinates, like a location. So that's where Lois is going with Sister Megan. She's got Ed watching Merritt. The nun, she ends up smashing the priest in this episode, and she's feeling guilty about it. She confesses to Lois, basically, like, they break out into song. It was just so extra. They just singing along together. She turned on the radio, and of course, it's the instrumental to the song they're singing. I was just like, Lord, please, let a dead body roll up on the car or something. Jesus, take us out of our miseries. My goodness. But Megan lets her know, she fornicated, and now she's feeling bad. At some point, she says she feels like this is happening because of her later on. But she says, we shouldn't be going out here. I feel like it's a setup. I feel like we're just riding right into, wherever the devil is telling us to go. So they end up seeing this big fire pitch. They get out and they're looking, because that's where the coordinates are. They're looking and they're trying to figure out, like, what is this? What's going on? This truck drives up and it is a geologist. He's like, hey, I've let the government know that this is happening, but nobody has been out here yet. It was some earthquakes happening, and then what did he say? The earthquakes exposed this natural gas deposit, and it's on a fault line. So it's just been bubbling up. He said, it's expanding. And he said, well, or maybe hell opened up. I said, ooh. Not that it ain't science at all, because maybe hell is just opening up to get y'all. Ain't got nothing to do with the earthquakes and the fault lines and the gas deposits and all of that stuff. So he's just like, I'm the geologist. I don't know what's going on, but y'all need to get out of here because it's getting bigger. It ain't safe. So they're leaving, and were they at the motel at this point? I can't remember where they were and why they were stopped. But she stopped somewhere, and there's this dog. This dog walks up to her, and it's like, come on. And it leads her off, and it shows her off to this man. So The man is just like, we did this as people. We've been burning these fossil fuels. We've been depleting the ozone, etc. Global warming is the cause. This is the effect type deal. So he is just kind of telling her how to stay safe, and he gives her a fire blanket, tells her she gonna have to drive through the fire. Okay, as they're trying to drive through, they run into this girl who is like bleeding in the fire. So it's like, are you bleeding because you on fire, or you bleeding because you got beat up and then you ran through the fire? Like, what's going on? But they let her in the car, and she's just yelling, he's coming, he's coming. They're like, who coming? Him, leave. And they speed on off, y'all. So on the next episode, episode 5, Red Haze, the three of them go to a motel, and they see the front desk girl as they're trying to check into a room, because they had went head on with the fire, and the people was like, baby, y'all gonna have to turn around. Y'all ain't getting through this today. Y'all gonna have to sleep in town, leave in the morning. So they go to the motel. They see the front desk girl has been beaten up. So Lois is just like, well, what's wrong, girl? She's like, next time use a little lipstick to neutralize it before you try to cover up the black eye. The girl is acting like she don't know what's going on, but eventually Lois tries to save her. So they asked about the pool, because they saw this pool, and it was just like this really vibrant, strange purple color for a pool. She says that the ash has copper in it, and it mixed with the chlorine, it turns purple. Lois said it reminds her of this cocktail, and they both know what the cocktail is, kind of giggle over. The girl's like, yeah, I used to be a bartender. So, having watched all of this through and then going back to watch it again after like seeing some reviews or seeing some tweets on Twitter and stuff like that, I completely get it. Like being in it, seeing what people were seeing, as far as this was absolutely the episode that let us know that Lois was in purgatory. This is not real. This was the height of the fever dream, the coma dream, the COVID coma dream, what we find out later on, that, is going on. And we'll get to that. So they're looking for the bloody girl, and they realize that the bloody girl and the girl at the front desk, they must be getting beat on by the same dude. It ain't much to this little town. So Lois is distracted. She's on the phone with Red, who is pressuring her to make a decision on Marshall being moved. Remember, she's like, hey, you're going to have to move him, or you're going to have to pull the plug. But we can't just keep him here in the hospital, like, in perpetuity. In perpetuity, in my Jocelyn Hernandez voice, right? So she's absolutely distracted on the phone with Red. Sister Megan goes outside, because at this point she's kind of going crazy. She's tweaking. She sees a car accident. Well, first she's like, I think there's someone out there. There's someone out there. And then boom, it's a car accident that happens over here. She runs over there asking if anybody's hurt. She's trying to help. There's a little girl in the car. She is tending to the little girl, and then she hears some commotion going on over there, and it's the guy, I think it's Nick trying to drown front desk girl in the pool. Then she's running around, and she's trying to find Lois and trying to figure out what's going on, and Lois is in the room on the phone with Red still, right? And she says, what do you mean I'm not getting better? I did not catch that the first go through. Even the reviews and tweets and Instagram posts and Facebook groups that I've seen on this, nobody quite picked up. I haven't seen anybody else mention the fact that she said, what do you mean I'm not getting better? I said, oh, okay, watching this back, that stood out way more. But seeing that scene, the way it was happening for Megan, and the way Megan ran in the room, and it's like, got that spinning out of control type effect, is absolutely giving purgatory, right? So, oh yeah. As she's saying that, what do you mean I'm not getting any better? Her phone disconnects, so now she's looking for another phone. She travels over to the front desk to ask for like a phone. She sees that the girl has been beaten again. She's like, girl, what had happened to you? And the girl's like, wet. I bruise easy. It's okay. She's like, girl, whatever. Where is the phone? As this is happening, a shootout occurs. There is a snow globe on the disc, and it's of the Last Supper. I said, not the Last Supper murder. Not the Last Supper murder. So, shootout happens. Nick is trying to kill Andrea. A black truck pulls up and takes Andrea. Sister Megan is running out there trying to get her, and front desk girl is out there in front of him, like, no, 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 don't do it. It's just a lot going on. But when the black truck pulled up and Sister Megan ran out even further, we see that she got hit in the chest. We see that she ends up in a coma. She's in a coma, y'all. She got hit in the chest once or twice, but is still here with us. I said, oh, okay. Father Charlie comes and he comments on the carnations. She hates these depress her. He brought her some wildflowers. They used to pick wildflowers when they would go on these little walks together, whatever, because they be spending time together. They boo things, okay? Father read Lois down for having her out there. Why would you have her out there anyway? You had her out there as bait. You knew that it wasn't safe. And she's like, listen, you want to talk. You're the whole reason she's chasing these murders. Okay, like, you got some nerve. So he tells Lois that she's being hunted and she needs to find out who did it. She needs to find out who did it, and he tells her to leave. Get out. Leave. Go, leave. I said, dang, he being real rude, okay? So she's leaving out, and she sees her boss in the hallway. The boss is like, I mean, I would chew you out, but I don't want it to just be a tack on to the one you just got in there. So and they end up talking about the cases that Lois has, successfully completed that could be the people that's coming back to mess with her, because clearly she's being hunted. The boss is like, I'm right there with you, girl. Here are the top 10 cases. So she's going through all of them, and she stops at this Glorious McCall, and Lois is like, yeah, but she's got life in jail. Boss lady says, yeah, but she got released 2 months ago. So she's like, girl, why wouldn't you tell me that? Like, that's when the murder started. So Lois goes off to work, another murder scene. They see like 3 or 4 women laying there with their babies cut out of them. Like unalive women with their babies cut out of them. Then we later on see this old lady with a baby, but she old. So it's like, clearly this ain't her baby. And she's yelling, he's coming. And I'm just like, okay, what's happening here? And then we get into episode 6. Good cesarean work. I might do 7 on this one too, because I'm kind of rolling through it. Episode 6. This episode, we see Maisie. That is the lady who was in the back of the house with the baby. We see Maisie's in the hospital, and Lois tells her about the women who had their babies cut out of them. She's like, we're going to test this baby to see if it's a match to any of those women. Maisie keeps like, she's talking and stuff, but she's like, yeah, a glorious day, and this, and this is so glorious. And Lois is like, okay, so this is clearly a setup. Glorious wants me to know that this is her, because here go Maisie constantly saying glorious, right? So, what's happening? Lois' boss tells her that Maisie works for Glorious and she needs to go find her. So when she goes to see Glorious, she finds out that Glorious was a confidential informant, and that's how she was able to get out early. Lois is like, oh, so they're just turning a blind eye to your pimping and drug dealing? She's like, oh, pimping girls, the same girls I got health care for, the same girls I took care of 8 kids. One of them kids gonna graduate from such and such, and yeah, them girls, like, oh, so apparently Glorious wasn't a terrible person. She just did not live by the law. Well, they said she was like, she was baby napping. She was killing bitches for their baby. So she was a terrible person, just not in every facet of life. So, Glorious people is about to bang shoot him up, but she's got Franklin with her, and Franklin comes over and it's like, it's a dude over there outside on the balcony, he got this type of gun. It's the dude over there, he got this type of gun. It's 2 of them over there that got this type of gun. Like, you ready? Let's go get him. Bow, 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 bow. Gloria starts reaching for her bag, and Lois grabs the purse like, pulls out the gun. I'm sure this will get you back in jail, Miss Confidential Informant. Okay? And Gloria tells her that she's being toyed with by a false prophet. So Red comes to Lois's house. Lois is at home, and she sees a big flash outside her house, like somebody's taking a picture right outside the window. So we see that Red is outside, and she's got a bottle of, I can't remember, what was it, Irish potato scotch or whatever it's supposed to be. It's nicer, smooth or whatever, as a peace offering for Lois. She goes in, they have this whole conversation, and she lets her know, you know what, I knew Marshall before him coming into the hospital. I said, yeah, I kind of figured that, because the way she be, he's a wonderful man and he's so great, and you need to do whatever it takes to keep him here with us and alive. She would just be doing the absolute most all the freaking time. So I figured, yeah, she had to have known him. So yeah, I was a student. I took his class once, fell in love, took it again and again, and basically we started having an affair. So Lois fakes comforts her and was like, oh, poor baby, I know it took a lot for you to come and say that. And Red is like, oh, I thought this night would end with you having a pistol in my face. And Lois is like, don't speak too soon. Get your ass out my house. That was hilarious, because what did you think her response was going to be? So Lois goes to see Maisie, and she lets her know that the killer lured her to a fire pit. She's confused, but overall she's trying to find out where the baby's at, okay? Lois got another crime scene, and we see women hooked up to milking machines to feed the newborns. So Maisie went on and told her, hey girl, check this out. Those milk machines looked so horrific. Those women were tied up hands and feet with these bras on that were just constantly like just suctioning them to get this milk. And there were these extremely long tubes feeding over to the babies on the other side of the room. Oh my God. And they were just like crying. Someone was crying so hard that they had like long snot streams out there. I was just like, oh my God. Of all the crime scenes, as a mother, this one was the most horrific for me. Like, ooh, the mama crimes, the most horrific. So, it's feeding the newborns. Lois is walking around the scene, and she sees this crazy murder board with all pictures of her. So she hears somebody coming behind her. They got a knife in her throat, like they about to slit her, baby. They about to slit her right on open. But she knocks it down, whips around, bang! She shoots them, okay, just in time. So yeah, we might as well just go and hop into episode 7 since we right here at it, right? Well, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and do it. Doing it and doing it and doing it. Doing it and doing it and doing it. My bad, y'all. I had a protein shake, y'all. It's good for a protein shake. Episode 7. Episode 6 was good cesarean work. Episode 7 is Unplugged. Episode 7 is Unplugged. So Merritt and Ed come out as lovers, y'all. Lois, she absolutely feels a way about this. Merritt has gotten on the show Half-Ton Trauma, and she said her and Ed are going to move in together because she needs support during this time of being on the show. Lois is like, oh, you going to love on somebody that's been with your mama? But Ed denies anything ever happening with her. That's why I'm like, you couldn't quite tell if he was like flirting because he's a flirt or flirting because he's seriously interested. It gave She's interesting enough. Let's make sure this crazy lady don't hurt herself because clearly she's a drunk. That's what it's giving. So as this is going on, y'all, Lois' drunk self demeans them so bad. She's talking about how he was an alcoholic. She's talking about married and oh, you're gonna be lifting up all her folds and yeasty sections and just doing the absolute most, just being so mean. So after this, she finally decides that she wants to pull the plug on Marshall, and she lets the doctor know that Red is the mistress. You got the mistress working here, being his main nurse, and they don't do nothing about it. I say, yeah, she's absolutely in a dream state because ain't no way you finna tell a hospital director that, okay, your nurse that's just dealing with my husband, she's been trying to push me to give her power of attorney because they used to date and they do absolutely nothing. And this nurse is still able to go care for my husband. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I say, yeah, she in a dream state. She should be waking up at the end of the season, maybe. We see that she is being pushed out of the force because AI is taking over. This episode, we also see that Lois and Sister Megan, they're cooking dinner. This is like the main part of this episode, y'all. Sister Megan and Lois, they're cooking dinner. We see Sister Megan stumbling around in some red bottoms, y'all. I'm like, where she get some red bottoms from? Remember, the church told her that she needs to make the blog more salacious, and she asked for a raise and for them to hire more people to help her. And she has full creative control. So, like I said, they're raised in them red bottoms, okay? So she is glitching out because at this point, Lois is letting her know, they sneaking in there. It was so subtle that Father Charlie was the murderer. And I said, yes, because it's the obvious thing. Father Charlie and Sister Megan are the murderers. This is why all of the murders have a religious background. This is why Sister Megan has so much insight and how she's at these murders before anybody else, like right after they're happening. She's there. So it was just an obvious choice that they would be the murderers, but just seems too easy because that's too easy, right? But we see why. So she just kind of casually puts it in there that, yeah, girl, we know that he was the murderer. I shot him dead, and he had to have an accomplice. Megan is tweaking out, y'all. She is like eating stuff. She taking carrots and dipping it in mayo. I said, this is disgusting. They end up getting into a full out squabble because I was like, this is gonna go terribly because at one point Lois was cutting the vegetables and I was like, good, don't bring this up while she got a knife in her hand. But by the time she's really going in on Sister Megan got the knife and she's cutting the vegetables. I said, girl, where is your detective skills? Because stop. Get the knife from her and get the rest of the knife from her, or make sure your gun is you right here. This cabinet, you right here. Pow! You know what I mean? Like, girl, what is you doing? So, of course, Megan tweaks out and stabs Lois. Lois puts up a good fight, but eventually we see, like, the life leaving her body because, like, her hand is like, and her hand relaxes out. And we see, like, that she is the one that's in a coma. I said, wait, we're gonna wake her up already. We're here already. We're not gonna. Okay, I mean, I guess we're at 7, but okay, all right. You know, most people that would have been an episode finisher, and then she wakes up in the next season would be, you know, what happens after that. But no, not with Ryan Murphy, y'all. Lois wakes up out of her coma. Well, no, Lois is in her coma. We see that she's the one in coma. And in real life, Merritt, the daughter, is a doctorate professor. And Ed is her husband, and he works at Cinnabon. We see them having a conversation with Marshall. And they're just letting him know that they're having marital problems and they probably finna break up. The dad is like, well, y'all can work through infidelity and that shouldn't be a deal breaker. Like something he says, you know how people talk. But she's like, oh no, you know, we could do a little infidelity. I wouldn't mind a hall pass. This new assistant I got, I would suck him off so good, something vicious. I said, Jesus Christ. She said, no, but what's the unforgivable act that I can't be with him no more for? He's been sleeping with Mom. They've been having an affair for 2 years. Marshall is so taken aback at this point. He goes to the hospital. He tells Lois's, coma body, just, I said, whoo, baby, he been fed. And he tells the doctor, we're pulling the plug tomorrow, 10 a.m. The doctor's like, did you talk to your other relative? Did you do this? Like, I mean, he's like, no, we're going to do this tomorrow, 10 a.m. He goes to see Red. Red is his girlfriend in real life. I said, well, that makes sense why she would be the nurse taking care of him in her coma dream. Red is a burlesque dancer. She's a cam girl. She's like in front of the camera and she's just like chastising him, but she's on the camera. He's like, girl, can you turn it off? She's like, my camera ain't on. I mean, my mic ain't on. You the one that barged in here during my office hours. I said, not your office hours. He's like, well, technically I'm paying for this apartment anyway. So she's like, how long have we been doing this? 6 years? And you mad at her for having an affair for 2? And he's like, that's different. That's family. That's nasty. Okay? That is her son-in-law. She like, they ain't related by blood. Like, relax. So most importantly, we see who, character is in real life versus her coma dream. Sister Megan. She is her partner at work, y'all. I said made sense because she just kind of hopped up on these cases and made herself a partner just because. And I'm like, she would not be able. This would be against so many protocols, girl. But whatever. That's her partner in real life. That was another thing that maybe was like, this might be a dream because ain't nobody finna just be letting somebody that's not a cop, not a detective, not involved in law enforcement in some way, shape, or form, just be sitting here walking around the crime scenes, analyzing stuff. Now, maybe in the office with some pictures and reports, but the crime scene, no. So, Sister Megan, Detective Megan, lead Detective Megan, her partner at work, she tells us that the department is getting sued by Andrea's family. I said, okay, so Andrea, the girl on fire that was burning, and they let her in a car, that was somebody as well. That was one of the cases that she had. I'm guessing the girl passed away because her family is suing the department. So it gets real soap opera-y at this moment because everybody is finding out that Marshall's about to pull the plug on Lois, so they're all coming to say their goodbyes as far as Meredith, Ed, and Megan. So Marshall puts everyone out. He's not letting nobody in there. He wants it to be unceremoniously, just a blip in the day. Unplug her and go about your day, okay? Now can't nobody talk to her. We see that the priest is the doctor, y'all. I say not the priest, the doctor in this little realm, child. Merritt tells Marshall, he better let everybody in or he not just going to lose Lois today. He going to lose her too. So he ends up letting everybody in there. And as they're unplugging the machines and stuff, her heart is still beating. Lois is not dead, y'all. And then we see it flip back over to the coma dream where Megan done stabbed up something crazy and she starts fighting back. Eventually, Megan got her a good few more times, but she gets the gun, shoots Megan in the head, it explodes, and she wakes up and is no longer in a coma. That made me laugh so hard. I ain't even gonna lie. That made me laugh so hard, y'all. But that is 4, 5, 6, 7 Grotesquerie. And depending on how long this stuff take to load, because y'all know now I got to put it in the other app to combine the videos before I put it in YouTube. So we're going to see how long they're taking, if I be windy, if I be over it by then. But if not, I'm finna hop on this live. Not like it matter, like y'all gonna hop on from there, but yeah. See y'all in the next one. Bye. Like the video. Thumbs up me. Share it with a friend. If you haven't watched Grotesquerie, but this sounds interesting enough to make you go watch, let me know. If you have watched and you like, girl, you ain't doing the show no justice, tell me what I'm missing. If you like the reviews, regardless, like this. If you watched the review, like it. Help your girl out. Bye, y'all.